Okay, let's talk about it. You believe that crystals are demonic. Why? Because somebody preached to you that it was demonic. But have you actually done your research into crystals to figure out if they are truly demonic? And also, on top of that, what makes something demonic? Because a crystal being a natural stone or rock or whatever it is in its natural state, does that make it demonic? Or is it the person using the crystals for evil intent, the one that's truly demonic? Because you have to actually look at it. You can't say something being in its natural state, whether it's observed or not observed, is demonic when it's not done anything. It's not like the crystal stood up and started attacking you. The crystal didn't do anything. The problem is the people who use the crystals for evil and negative intent to harm others and bring upon ailments and diseases to other people. That's where the problem is. So I really think that people need to identify the actual problem instead of just putting this blanket statement that crystals are demonic when the crystals hasn't done anything to you. If crystals are demonic, then get rid of your jewelry. If crystals are demonic, then get rid of your phone. If crystals are demonic, then get rid of any technology that you have, because many of them have crystals imbued within them to function and to work. You can't say something like a crystal is demonic when you don't actually have proper understanding of it. Because if that's the case, it's like saying, okay, well, oregano is demonic, rosemary is demonic, pineapples are demonic, your shoe is demonic, your bed is demonic, right? It's like saying that those things are demonic because, oh, well, see how silly that sounds? Because you're not going to say those things are demonic. And yeah, you might say, well, no one's taking my shoe and doing evil things. People can. Okay, people can. Do you not see when people like ask for a possession of somebody, if they're trying to do a ritual, they will ask for a possession. They can use your shoe, right, to do a ritual for whatever it is that they want, which boils it back down and lets you know that it's not the actual object, it's the intent of the person using that object. And on top of that, okay, so then why crystals and why not something else? You have to look at it like this, and I'm going to talk about race, because here's the thing. Every race is different. In our DNA, there are things that make us slightly different. We have different properties, right? In Black people, we have something called melanin. Melanin is very, very powerful. You could do your research to find out more about it. But essentially, that melanin makes us different from other races who do not have melanin. At one point in time, people probably looked at Black people and said that you guys are evil. You guys are animalistic. You guys are primitive. You guys don't know what you're doing. So you guys should be enslaved. Their lack of understanding of Black people, or even wanting to understand Black people, or their fear of the power that Black people hold, is what caused them to make them and turn them into something else, because they feared us. You don't shackle something you don't fear and make other people be afraid of that thing as well. So going back to the crystals, the reason why a crystal seems to be powerful is because a crystal has certain properties and certain structures to it that causes it to be able to act a certain way when it's in a certain environment, under certain pressures and certain conditions. You saying a crystal is demonic is actually absurd and very, very silly. And on top of that, the second thing that people tend to have a problem with is to say that people worship crystals. Can you please find the people who are worshipping crystals? Because I'm yet to find these people. Like, I genuinely don't know anybody who worships the crystals, and I would really like to meet them, because where did this statement come from? Somebody flung it in the air and said, look at these people, they're using crystals. Oh my gosh, they must be worshipping crystals. That is an assumption that was made, and everybody just ate it up and ran with it. Do you actually see people worship crystals, like say, oh, crystal, oh, beautiful one, oh, showing gratitude to something is different from saying that you're worshipping that thing. You're grateful for the herbs and the oregano for tasting delicious in your food. Oh my goodness, this food tastes so good. That herb, oh my gosh. But does that mean that you're worshipping it? Like, for a second, can we actually just take a step back and hear how silly it sounds when someone says a crystal is demonic or people are worshipping crystals? Like, just for a second, take it in. Like, Don't you think that that's so silly? Why would people worship an inanimate object? You wouldn't. Gratitude is very different from worship. Being thankful for something is different from worshiping it. So yeah, crystals aren't demonic, okay? People don't worship crystals. Crystals are essential and useful. They have the ability to act a certain way in a certain pressure. And the only power that a crystal has is the power that's given upon it by the person using that thing. So if the intent of the person using the crystals is malicious, then okay, I can see why people say it's demonic. But it all lies in the intent of the person using the crystals. And people say, well, why use a crystal when you can just use prayer or something like that? And I have an answer to that. But because this video is getting too long, I'm going to stop there. And maybe at some point I might revisit and try and elaborate more on this topic if people really want to see it and people want to hear about it. But yeah, crystals aren't demonic. And I really think that you need to, for a second, just actually reflect and figure out why and where this ideology came from that crystals are demonic. Okay? And if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. But I think you should get educated before speaking about something that you don't really know about. But yeah. Anyways, bye.